But all right, let's go ahead and move on to the conversation. We don't want to leave him waiting for too long, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, so Kirito is not that well known. So I'll let you start with Kirito if you want.
Okay, I think that's fine. I don't really think I need to talk about like AP feats, right? Since we'll just be like equalizing everything.
Yeah, we agree that Link and Kirito are like multiversal to 5D, right? We don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Alright, sounds good to me. We can just continue off there.
All right. All right. So for anyone who doesn't know what SAO is, it's an anime verse called Sword Art Online. It's from what I've seen, like something that's gotten like a lot of people into anime. It's some people hate it, some people don't. I'm one of the people that don't hate it. I think it's good. But Kirito is the main character, and just for like a quick, like simple summary, basically everyone got trapped inside of like a death game with like some VR headset. If they died, they die IRL. That's pretty much the main thing. In Kirito, he was basically a solo player. Think of him like Sun Jiwoo, but before Sun Jiwoo. And basically, it was my first anime. Yeah, it wasn't my first, but
He's kind
definitely
of
really
like the
noticeable.
Link of the light novel peeps.
Kirito,
That
the guy who was called a Gary Stew, and yet scaling him is almost unknown.
it's so easy to scale Kirito. I don't know, man. It's really easy to scale him.
It's like not that hard to scale him, but like I do plan on making a video on him on my own channel sometime soon.
Use him in a
But
ver
back to
use
him.
him in a versus
I,
battle because I've seen your Sid and Sung Jin Woo stuff. Versus battles are gonna get more views if you're just using that way.
Dude, I wish the VR headset was. I know, dude. If I had, I've gotten some of my friends into SAO, and I've shown the whole series to them. We've always talked about like, dude, if the nerve view was real, I don't even care if I die. I'd immediately hop in that thing, but no hesitation.
On God, bruh.
And also, like, dude, it's just a free excuse for me to skip school. Like,
Okay
thank you.
then. All
But
right. Say that. Yeah, say that louder so your parents can hear that on stream. Okay.
they already know I hate school. They know I hate it with a burning passion.
Jeez. But anyway,
But
continue.
yeah, back to the scaling for him. Basically, for anyone who hasn't watched it, there's this skill called dual wielding. Now, it might sound like pretty ordinary to anyone here who might play like RPG kind of games, like open field games. But inside of the game, dual wielding is only given to like the player that has like the fastest reaction time in the entire series. It's also said to be like the strongest skill of the verse, and Kirito easily obtained that. And with that, his most notable feats come from him soloing a boss called Gleam Eyes, which is something that no one has done in the series, and also in the first fight, beating the creator of the game. He didn't know that this guy named Heathcliff was the creator, but he basically beat him so bad in the fight that he had to literally activate cheats in order to win. So off the bat, I think that's just pretty impressive.
I
Like, how do
agree.
you beat, dude? I don't understand how you beat the creator of your own game, right? Like, you lose to someone who's in your game. You're the one who's controlling everything, and you still lost. It's just crazy. You go
That
to
is
school,
crazy
just a little
work,
guy.
bruh.
Yep,
Dude.
I'm a little guy, and yet I'm a better scaler than 90% of the community.
I know, right? Friggin', it's crazy work. Unironically, I call Kirito the Link of modern day setting because like he kind of does the whole sword thing. It's just he's more offensive.
Yeah. But anyways, after basically like getting killed, he was able to like resist death hacks and like kill the creator, and that's pretty much the entire like synopsis of like mainly the first season. But in terms of scaling, he's pretty much solidly number one inverse as of right now. Uh, it's pretty much agreed upon by like the entire fandom that he has like the best reactions in the series. Uh, and in like season 3 and 4, that's like when the ceiling and like most of his hacks come from. He has this ability called like incarnation, which is basically both reality warping and like probability manipulation, because it kind of like warps reality and then like manipulates the future in a way to like help you win a fight against someone. It's basically like willpower, but as like a hacks. Uh, he also can face enemies that are like capable of controlling like the entire like universe and say have like the system. And in like one of the final episodes of season 4, he's capable of fighting against this guy named Gabriel, who was a conceptual being that embodied both nothingness and fear throughout the entire universe, and he's capable of killing him. Uh, he also has a lot of skills that allow him to hit like multiple attacks in like a single blow. He has up to 16 hits with Starburst Stream in a single attack, so it's pretty good. In terms of abilities, he can manipulate pretty much like all like any kind of element. He has like shields and stuff. Uh, you can technically give him like think of it like he has admin privileges. Kind of think of it like Minecraft creative mode. Uh, Basically it allows for like Kirito the bomb. All right, Carnifex. Also, hello. It's been a little while,
Oh boy.
but yeah. Back to him. Basically, with like the system, he has things like existence erasure. He has like immortality and like invulnerability if you were to use it. He can technically like create and like summon a whole bunch of bosses. Uh, Steve does not solo. He also has like passive healing. Let's see. He can also create like status effects like paralysis on people. He has like subjective reality since he can like create any kind of weapon that he wants. You can give him like sealing and transmutation, as he can seal and transmutate people like Poe into like a tree by converting like the memory of the sword as the Giga Seeder into him. Let's see. In terms, what else do I have for hacks? I think that's like the moat. I think that's like, oh yeah. He also has like age manipulation. Since he was able to turn like Alice's dragons back into like their eggs. So I think with all that being said, I'd say that's like the main kind of hacks he has. Uh, and like another ability that he has is with like his dual wielding blades, he's capable of like increasing his combat speed heavily during a fight.
Okay.
So I think with all that being said, I'd say that's pretty much most of the main stuff I'd say is needed for him.
Okay. So, uh, I suppose for Link, I took more notes last night, and I got a bunch of his magic stuff. But I'll just get into his intro, starting here. So Link is the main protagonist of the Legend of Zelda franchise. In the Legend of Zelda franchise, it is owned by I forget Nintendo, I believe. Yeah, Nintendo.
Yeah.
And he's generally a character who is stoic. He uses a sword, he uses a shield, and a bunch of other weapons and tech and other goofy stuff. The games themselves express a non-linear meta story, so you have to put the entire timeline together yourself, and this is ignoring the timeline that we're already given by Nintendo. Because the newer games in the franchise, what they seem to do is rectify the older issue of the timelines by all of them eventually arriving to the dark future that we see in the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Echoes of Wisdom era. Uh, Link, he has the Triforce of Courage, the Triforce of Courage that was bestowed by the goddess Farora or Farora. I've her name is obscure, but basically, Link has a portion of her power, and the goddesses exist above space and time because they existed without space and time, or rather, they existed before space and time was a thing. So they would be 5D by proxy of that. If not, you can argue multiversal using Nehru's Love, which is a spell which literally uses the energy of countless universes. So on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff for Legend of Zelda. Crisis covered it, so I'm just gonna be using Link in versus battles for the most part. So go check out Crisis's channel for like specific videos on the matter. But that's mostly it. Link's pretty well known. I'd say he's like one of the top 5 most well known hero types. Like I'd say, am I wrong? Everyone else is kind of just inspired off him.
How long ago did the Legend like of Zelda games come out?
Oh, like 90s, like late 90s. No, no, early 90s. Crazy, right? It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Are you guys using a composite link?
Yeah, I'm kind of just saying comp, to avoid any issues on like canonicity. And just saying fuck it. Uh, does that make sense? Or there's no issue, is there? Oh, these guys are scrubs. Holy smokes.
Talking about the guys you're playing with?
Yeah, these guys are scrubs.
I know
But
I'm watching.
yeah. A- anyway, I'm basically using Hero Time Link, but I'm giving him his entire arsenal from the rest of the games. Because Hero Time or Skyward Sword Link, kind of just take your pick. They're the strongest two. That's mostly it, right?
Uh,
Like, I mean, we kind of all know Link by now, like main character of the Zelda games, and so on and so forth.
yeah, off topic just for 1 second, but dude, I just saw some guy, one of my friends server, just go that the Bayverse doesn't get past city level. This guy's dead serious about it too.
I see. Well, I'd be willing to debate him on that any day of the week.
It's some dude named Grimlock.
Of course, there's a dude named Grimlock. Why? Why
Ain't that funny?
of all the Grimlocks we know, why is it that legendary Grimlock's the only smart one?
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna lie, I could probably whip that guy in Bayverse. But anyways, back to the topic.
Yeah, yeah. Back to the conversation. I mean, I'm more or less summed up Link, right? Well, do I need to go into more detail?
You pretty much got like his like AP nod.
Okay,
I think
okay,
you just need to cover like abilities and stuff like that.
yeah, okay. So, as for abilities, okay, there is a lot. Okay, there's a spell named Mipha's Grace, where if you get killed, you just auto resurrect and you get a shitload of health on top of that too. And he can kind of just spam it. I bet there's like a slight cooldown, but I don't see Kirito killing Link in like 20 minutes or less. I see them fighting for like a long time. So he's pretty much just gonna be able to like auto res anytime he dies in the fight, if he ever does. Then there's this spell, Neru's Love. Neru's Love protects him from damage for the most part, ignoring game mechanic stuff that the game intentionally doesn't ignore. It will leave Link mostly impervious to damage. Uh, there is also a spell called Urboja's Fury. Urboja's Fury. It's like if it summons his volcanic fire using a manifestation of her very rage. And then there's another spell called Rivali's Gale. Uh, and mind you, fellas, I dabble in the Legend of Zelda. I've been scaling the crap out of it for like the last 5 to 6 months now. So if I butcher something, let me know. But there's a lot of stuff to remember. Rivali's Gale just summons a gust that lets Link go up and uses paraglider. It's not really all that useful since Kirito just has superior flight, so I'm gonna ignore that one intentionally. Let's see. What's the other one? Oh yeah, there's a defensive spell. Uh, that Daruk has. It's like Mipha's Grace. I forget it's Daruk something. Something something. But it does something similar to Mipha's Grace. So Link has two spells that allow him to a certain degree impervious defense. Now as for his arsenal, the main one's obviously the Master Sword. The Master Sword scales above the Kokiri Sword and the Picori Sword and all other versions of the sword. Like the Force Sword, for example, will duplicate Link's soul 3 times, so you have 4 Links that do the exact same thing, gameplay wise. So it has soul interaction, meaning to a degree soul destruction if you were to end the enemy or kill him rather. Uh, there is a smorgasbord, and I do not say this lightly, a smorgasbord of conceptual scaling from the Minish Cap, because you have the embodiment of land, the embodiment of air, the embodiment of fire, the embodiment of water, right? Uh, like this is verbatim, right? And then not only that, but the energy of these go into the Picori sword, which the Picori sword is basically the small people sword in Minish Cap, because the gimmick in the Minish Cap was you could become really small. Uh, and you could put all four of the energy of all four of these embodiments into the Picori sword. And the Master Sword was used from era to era to defeat different variants of Ganondorf, so on and so forth. So you're naturally gonna have different variants of the Master Sword, even if it's technically the same, because the links are stronger, have different versions of the Triforce. Hero of Time slash Skyward Sword has the strongest version of the Triforce power. You following me so far, right? It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. I did warn you. To be fair, I did warn you. But with Link, uh, there's so much more stuff I can bring up. But here's the overall claim I'll make. Link has better defensive spells than Kirito. Kirito lacks anything to the degree Link has for defensive spells. Uh, he has stuff he could put on that gives him resistance to cold, resistance to heat. He has so much random stuff. You get what I mean? Like
Yeah. The
uh,
only thing that he would have for defense would be like this like massive shield. That's like a 360-degree one, but that's about it.
yeah. But like the but finishing up with the Master Sword though. This dude saying y'all are ass. Goodbye. Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna bore out the
That's
stream.
crazy.
I tried. I tried. I'm just gonna sweat it out doing something else on Hunter. I tried. Okay. We gave it the honest try, fellas. That's all we can do. Losers, man. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, uh, uh, uh yeah. Link overall has better defensive stuff, and he scales higher. Uh, But what I will say is Kirito, his reactions are multiple times that of Link's combat speed. However, Link does have the precision and skill to predict attacks from faster opponents. In fact, Link's generally the slower one in a fight. If not in outright combat speed, then at
Okay.
least in just how he reacts to people.
There's a sword from Link to the Past, which is an upgraded version of the Master Sword.
Yeah. Remember, Ocarina of Time that's the Link who's the strongest. Or Link from Skyward Sword. Literally one of those two games. You can pretty much just take your pick and say that Link's the strongest. What win cons do you have for Kirito?
Okay. The win cons I would say that Kirito would have. We generally agree upon that he has like fast reaction speed.
Hmm.
So I think him being able to like amp up his combat speed massively could potentially be a win con. I think his
Okay.
greater arsenal would also be a really big help because his
Mm,
arsenal is just massive.
I think Link has a bigger arsenal. Uh,
I
y-
think that's arguable, but I think also with the system with like subjective reality, I think that also helps out.
yeah, but the Triforce is the power directly from the gods themselves too. Uh, I think to some degree that would counter.
Okay, let's see. Besides that, I'd say what else? I had other win cons. I think I told you yesterday, but I kind of forgot. Let me see if I can remember.
Okay. Combat experience and skill. Do we want to just leave it relative, or
Yeah, I think we can leave that relative.
Yeah, it's a little debatable since I'm comping it, and Star King is like older than my grandma. So
Yeah, that 200 years in the underworld really helps out.
yeah, I would also want to mention that Zelda can recall memories of her previous selves, and she was the reincarnation of Helia herself in the Skyward Sword game.
Okay, that's
Not that
pretty good.
it matters for any reason here, but that the Triforce of Wisdom grants Zelda her own unique abilities.
Yeah, it makes sense. Dude, I just realized the stream's been going on for 30 minutes already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just chilling. And 8 people are watching. Woo! I just realized this earlier. Is Cyrus Pink said he donated $5 US. I didn't get a notification for that, but if that's true. You're amazing, bro.
Yeah, I haven't seen that notification either.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think it's fun. Uh, I think something else I forgot to mention about Kirito was his like ordinal scale stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's ranked number one in the system with it, which grants him like immortality, like he's incapable of dying unless someone else were to overtake his like position.
Okay.
So I think that's useful there.
I
And he also has this giant sword that he got from defeating the incarnation of the Radius, which was like way above like his dual wielding blades. It like one tapped like every like conceivable boss in SAO.
That's pretty cool. So Link has other similar stuff. Like he has something called the Gale Boomerang, and when he throws the Boomerang, it creates a tornado, and he can kind of just do whatever he wants with it. He can just bring you closer to himself or further away. I think the Gale
I think
Boomerangs.
Kirito also.
Does he have something like
Oh,
that?
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, incarnation allows for like telekinesis and like being able to manipulate like anything.
mm,
So I
well,
think
would
to
he be able to
some
create
degree he'd also
tornadoes on the
kinda have that.
spot though? That's the thing.
I don't think he can, but I think the telekinesis would be like a good factor in either helping like push him away or like bring him closer if you wanted.
Well, yeah. Possibly. I just don't see it being strong enough if like Link just gets him from like I don't know. Like he throws the boomerang and he's hitting Kirito and like Kirito retreats. I think if that boomerang gets him from behind or just from a blind spot, he's getting hit by that tornado. He'll be off guarded. Same for like Kirito's magic and stuff. I just think the Gale boomerang, which is comparable to his other potent gear, it is a decent win con for area control.
It's fair.
Yeah. Let's see. Link also has the Megaton hammer. The Megaton hammer, it's a giant
Hello,
hammer.
Ruby Walker.
Yo, what up, Ruby Walker? So the Megaton hammer Lets him smash targets with it. It does hammer stuff. It lets him smash people, right? It's what it does.
Yeah. So what a hammer does.
Yeah. Uh, he also has rods that fire magic. It just I think Kirito's offensive magic is better and the easy use is better. Like Kirito doesn't even need a wand really. He can kind of just summon shit while he's flying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pretend the wands don't exist here. But actually Link does have something for Yu-Gi-Oh, by the way.
By Yu-Gi-Oh, I assume you mean like the Blue Rose Sword.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. If the spirit of Yu-Gi-Oh appears, Link has something called the Ghost Lantern, and the Ghost Lantern will tell him that there's a ghost near him even if he can't see them. So all he had to do would be an
Okay.
area attack in the Master Sword, or the Bigoron Sword, or one of the stronger blades he has, would be able to cut through Yu-Gi-Oh. What do you think of that argument?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Though I do see Yu-Gi-Oh just like always coming back every now and then.
Oh
He
yeah,
doesn't do it often though. He's
yeah.
gonna just like, well, if you're like really in a dire situation, I'm here.
I mean, I could see Yujo like sacrificing himself to give Kirito an opportunity. So like creative duplication of ability. I could see Kirito having that. You know, I'm certainly not gonna contest that in any way.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just think that Yujo is gonna get hard countered by the Ghost Lantern.
Yeah,
Oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
Link also has an effed up ability if we assume that they're fighting like near rubble or whatever.
What would that be?
He can turn himself into a 2D mural and just move around, turn back to 3D and just smack Kirito. It worked on Ganon, by
Man,
the way.
that's just crazy.
That shit is crazy. Oh my god. It's a mechanic for like one of the games and during the Ganon boss fight in that game, Ganon's confused at where Link went because he turned into a mural and he didn't see him. And Ganon's the
Oh,
one with the
dang.
Triforce of Power, mind you. Dude,
Oh,
that
some
thing is gonna
uh,
be so inconsistent, but when it works, it's gonna do some crazy work, bro. And I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, makes sense.
Oh my goodness. Um, but I mean, Link does have stuff for like matter manipulation, telekinesis, and other stuff. It's just there's so much to bring up. I'd be talking for hours, and I'm like, kind of a little self-conscious about that. So, like, I think Link does have counters to at least most of the offensive stuff. Kirito has. Uh, what about Kirito's stronger win cons? Sorry, I don't want to ramble forever.
That's all good. I'm just looking at some stuff. Give me 1 second. Okay. Uh, some other possible things I could see helping Kirito would be like enhanced armament, which amplifies like the use of like attack power several times over.
Hmm.
So I think that could also be useful, especially since it's like also used for like range and stuff, and like with Blue Sword having like uh, a pretty giant AOE attack.
Hmm.
Besides that, let's see. One who feel like probability manipulation. I guess the only other thing I could technically see helping him out here would be like his immortality, because since technically Link would just be finding like his avatar, he wouldn't like be able to like get to
Okay.
his like IRL avatar. So
Okay.
Kirito could always just like come back.
Actually, he
There's
does
also
have a
the stuff with like
on that. He actually does have a
sorry.
counter to the immortality. So the Triforce of Power actually grants Ganon immortality. The the Master Sword has the ability to seal away foes it defeats. So like after he would defeat Kirito, he'd be unable to use that avatar again. Worried to be struck by a fatal blow from the Master Sword.
I think the counter that Kirito would have to that is that he's capable of like fusing his like all of his avatars into one.
That's
So I
fine.
think he could just like repeatedly do that.
That's fine.
If it ever came to that.
It's just Legend of Zelda generally has more potent stuff than SAO. So I don't see Kirito getting up after an in theory fatal amount of attacks. Like if Link stabs him with the sword, he's gonna seal him. And it would take something like reincarnation to get around the sealing technique, which isn't even really getting around it. It's just reincarnation working as it's supposed to.
But vice versa, Kirito could also probably do it to Link with his what's it called? His Giga Cedar sword is so like the night sky blade.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned counters like Daruk's magic, Mipha's grace, Nehru's blessing, or Nehru's love. Like even if Kirito killed Link, he'd just come back immediately because Mipha's grace. It would just bring him back from the dead and essentially double his hearts.
So it might be difficult if you were to just get turned into the tree like Poe was.
Yeah, but
It's not exactly dying.
the Triforce of Courage, uh, uh, the Triforce of Courage means Link is fated to fight his enemies no matter what. He'd just get around the tree thing entirely. It wouldn't work on him. Not when not when the goddess herself who gave Link the Triforce just ignores reality warping. Because see, it's Link plus the increase of power, stats, and hacks resistance and stuff that the Triforce gives him. Because while the Triforce of Wisdom is
Yeah.
useful, it's always the Triforce of Courage that wins.
What's Kirito gonna do to Link, who just heavily eclipses him in every category?
Mm, I mean, hacks wise, he does. Yeah, like potency wise. But they're actually not that far apart. It just Link has the advantage of being around longer. What with him being from a franchise of the sort. Like the Triforce is just broken, like straight up.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think one of the things that can also help Kirito is that he can just like the system from Alicization, he can just he can turn objects into like whatever he wants. Something that could like potentially help him like catch Link off guard.
Mm, yeah, Link does have resistance and negation to matter manipulation. I don't think that would work.
I think I see it more of in like a way where like he could like either like create more swords, create like barriers, or just
Oh
things
yeah,
like that. Because
oh
Kirito's a
yeah, that's
crafty
fine.
person.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. It's just the matter manipulation stuff in particular. Like I'm just arguing that won't work. I'm fine with utility stuff because that's utility stuff.
Yeah. What's up,
Yeah.
Rick?
Oh, what up, Rick? How you doing, bruh?
I should probably open up my gaming grind while we talk.
Yeah. Oh, you've just been sitting down for a minute. Bruh, bruh, and here I am just helping myself to the whole
Yeah.
fucking buffet, and you're just sitting here bored out of your mind. That's crazy.
I was like sitting here, and then I was like, you know, I should just open up my game while I talk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the flaw of streaming D2. Like you literally just saw I was playing with a bunch of scrubs. I think I'll just do a dungeon run
Yep.
of Sundered.
I specifically hate when I play this specific game that I'm playing right now because there's scrubs everywhere.
Dude, tell me about it. It's crazy.
It's the only types of people I could ever meet.
Ugh, what's this week's
We got
raid?
9 people watching right now.
9 people? Okay, okay.
Yep.
Alright. I see that. Nice. Okay. So, what more stuff do you got for Kirito? Because my main win con is gonna be the Master Sword or something else from his arsenal.
I think this WinCon he has, it's like it's there, but he doesn't exactly use it. But that would be like with the system being capable of like summoning like bosses and entities like that.
Hmm. Okay. Would you say that's outside help?
I don't think it's necessarily like outside help, considering it's like an ability that he has, because
Hmm.
it kind of be like Sun Wu's like Shadow Army.
Mhm.
Like he because he brings them to like his fights, so it's not exactly like outside help.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. All right. This. Okay. This one. I we're gonna assume that he's gonna use it, so like, that's fine. So let's see. What would be a good counter to this? Okay. 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 I gotta scrape around the bottom of the barrel for this one. All right. Let's see. Mm. Oh yeah, I'm stupid. He can just use the four swords. Yeah. I wouldn't see Kirito summoning an obtuse amount of enemies. Link would just use the four sword. He'd summon just four versions. Well, three
I think
versions
that's a
of
possibility.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the four. I'd say the four sword would beat the summoning. What it does is
How
it.
good does Link move with like what's it called? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you had a question. Go ahead and ask.
I was just wondering how good is
Uh,
all right.
in the Link's Awakening game, Link was part of the Windfish's dream, and he managed to conquer the dream of the Windfish by defeating the Nightmare, who created the dream, or the Nightmare rather. I don't know if that technically qualifies as a counter, but that's kind of in the same family.
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there. Yeah, it's just because like with the game, it's like I just was trying to tell me about ping bet, but I don't think that's a direct counter. I see what you mean though. It's kind of like in the range, but I don't think that's like a direct counter. It's like illusionary magic.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is Link can interact with spells of the sort and dispel them with attacks from one of his weapons. We know he can beat
Yeah,
up ghosts
I
and he
get
can beat up concepts with his sword. Something like illusion magic, I think, would still be susceptible. Not a hard counter. I think it's useful. It's just not it's just Navi, the fairy. She's like the best observational fairy. Uh, so she'd be able to give information analysis about the target.
You know,
That's
it's
that.
going to be funny. Here, I can just let me just
Yeah,
argue Kirito summoning Yui.
Yui. Yeah, he has Yui too. That's what makes it weird, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just got hit the counter so fast.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And this guy
Mm,
just fumbled. Are we serious?
well, okay. Actually, there is something I can't argue.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah. Uh, Link has a combination of information analysis factors. Other than Navi the Fairy, he could just use the other versions of himself with the Force Sword to watch the illusion magic and find patterns and flaws and one of the other links. Cause he can pretty much just have the Force Swords up at all times and just recast it without penalty. Uh, I'd say the Force Sword would at least put illusion magic in check.
I can see that.
Like when he fought Eugene, right? General Eugene. Like if there was another person there
Yeah.
watching Kirito from above, he'd see that, right? Like then like Kirito's creative win con wouldn't have worked. Which that's the reason he used it in the
I
first
can see
place, but
that.
you get the point though.
Yeah.
Mm, I,
Oh my god.
I do have something. I believe it or not, I might have something for Kirito's flight.
Okay. Can be with it.
Okay, so a couple things. Um, Kirito's gonna be casting magic in air if he's gonna be flying. Link has the mirror shield, which allows him to reflect attacks back at the enemy who sent them. And then he also has multiple variations of the claw shot, which would allow him just to fire a claw at the enemy, and he would just go up to him. Thoughts?
Sorry, can you say that one more time? Say it.
Okay, so the claw shot is something that allows Link to grab onto people when he's on the ground, or if he's in air doing something else. There's multiple variations of the claw shot, but the long and short of it is he can grab Kirito while he's flying, uh, and go up to him, or he can what's the other word? The claw shot. And I said something else. I forgot. Dang it. Nah, I'm out. Oh yeah, the mirror shield. He
I think you
also
said
has a
something
mirror
about like
shield.
reflecting, right?
Yeah, the mirror shield. Yeah. Link's just gonna reflect magic fired at him from Kirito if Kirito's in air. The mirror
Kirito
shield.
also has like a mirror shield as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying Link's not gonna be vulnerable on the ground, even though flight would be useful.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. So let's see. Link also does have his bird too from Skyward Sword. His bird would allow him to fly in air and at speeds much faster exceeding his in air. He'd be relative-ish to Kirito, but his reactions would still blitz. It's just he'd mostly be firing his arrows and stuff. Like, he's not going to be going for sword swings. He mostly gets off the bird to go for sword swings. So, I still think Kirito would be superior while in air, but Link does have stuff to allow him to fly in air. Like, he's got fire arrows, he's got ice arrows, and all that other stuff. Or he could say use the claw shot while he's on the bird to go up to Kirito to try to F his wings up, maybe. Uh,
I can see that being a possibility.
Link's one of the most creative people in verse, and he's also one of the best at spotting weaknesses. Not only that, but he's a complete and utter combat prodigy. And with uh, and naturally we'd be talking about Kirito's age as well. But I think Link would have a way of spotting how to counter the wings using his bird. Is there any problem with that argument? Because I can expand more on it.
Nah, I think that's fine.
Okay, okay. Uh, I would also say this too. Often Link is always fighting people much more powerful than himself. Like obviously Kirito does that as well. But not really solo. Like the Gleam Eyes thing was as huge as it was because you don't ever see that. Uh,
Some guy in the chat said he also has homing arrows via fuse for the aimbot.
yeah. Link does have that too. It's just there's so much I have to go through. Uh, so like, there's gonna be stuff I'm not gonna know or bring up. I need to get back on the stream on my phone. Let's see what the stream's doing. I also saw Demon mention that there's upgrades for the Master Sword. We didn't really talk about that earlier, but you do upgrade your weapons repeatedly in the Legend of Zelda games. So there's also variations of the Master Sword that's stronger than the one we're aware of.
Okay.
And then like Hero Time would actually have the strongest variant of it. Uh, I guess I think we both could bring more stuff up, but I think my main win con here is going to be that Link obviously hacks nukes paired with his stat advantage. I think Link with the Master Sword could permanently put down Kirito's avatar if he kills him enough times, because he can also seal him. So he's not only killing, he's also sealing his body so that the revival process would take an out of combat amount of time.
Okay.
Uh, what would
Oh, no,
your
give me one
main win
second.
con
This
be?
kid's complaining to me.
Well, see, here's the thing, Scoobs. Kirito also has magic of that type himself. Like, like, uh, like Hog and I agree that Kirito's defensive magic is hot garbage, but his offensive stuff is quite stellar. Like Kirito is an agility kind of guy, whereas say Link is kind of sort of a combination of Heathcliff and he's kind of sort of like a combination of Kirito and Heathcliff. If that makes sense.
That is such a runner, bro. Come back. Sometimes I just hate fighting people, bro. They're such runners.
I hear that when they run and they just make things boring. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this
So
guy's complaining to me that I'm not using, like, physical attacks. I'm just spamming, but he's, like, literally running from me.
people are just egotistical, good friend. You know that.
Yep, especially in this game.
But getting back to the conversation, what's your win con for Kirito?
I think probably one of my main win cons would be, like, his massive, like, advantage in, like, reaction combat speed if you were to just continuously amp it up.
That's fine. I could see it being a valid win con. Yeah. Uh, but here is what my win con would be, or here's what my argument would be then. Uh, Kirito would be steadily getting faster, while Link would be getting more and more accurate at killing him. At once a certain amount of time passes, Link's adaptation will exceed Kirito's ability to fight back.
Okay.
Is there any problem with that argument?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. So, which one do you think would be the more feasible win con then?
I think both can be, like, very feasible depending on, like, the situation. I can see it working out in, like, different scenarios.
Just see, Kirito is fast and he has better offensive stuff, but like Link's just stat hacks and debatable arsenal advantage, I think, is a bit more compelling. At least that's my opinion. Uh, if you have a different one, that's fine. That doesn't bother me in any way.